Today we're down at Locked and Loaded 4x4 and it is finally time to lift the Rubicon 392. We've got a really cool kit going on, so let's get started. So here it is. This is everything we've got laid out that's going to be installed on the Rubicon 392 today, and there's a lot going on in front of us. Now, of course, we had to go with Clayton Off-Road for the suspension system, but we changed it up a little bit from the yellow Jeep. And by changing it up, as Joe just mentioned behind, we kind of went a la carte on the yellow Jeep, meaning we had to piece together all of the components that we put on that Jeep. With this kit I've got out today, this is the performance kit or performance package from Clayton Off-Road, and you get everything all at once. So while it looks like a lot and the UPS driver struggled to move all the boxes into my garage, everything is built into this kit and it's designed to work perfectly with my Jeep. Now what we've got laid out on the table is first the Overland Plus suspension system. This is a 3.5-inch kit with all 8 control arms, sway bar links, and then the coil springs are out back behind me. What makes this different with the performance package is that it includes more. So now this also includes the steering, which is from RockJock 4x4, which includes a beefy tie rod and your drag link. And then on top of that, we have the Falcon through shaft steering stabilizer. Now, like I said, behind me, I do have the coils, which are set up perfectly for the 392. And we did go with a 3.5-inch kit because I love the height of that on my past Jeep. On the shocks, we had to change it up as well. So we went with the Falcon 3.3 shocks, which include the SP2 fast adjust down below, as well as the full adjustments up here. Now what's neat about these shocks is these are also specifically designed for both the 392 and the diesel, meaning that the reservoir is a little bit shorter here because your washer fluid, I believe, is up underneath the driver's side. So they made the reservoir a little bit shorter and it is perfectly set up for the Jeep. Got some bump stops here, deciding on how high we want to set those, and Joe and Alex here, everybody's going to get it dialed in. So some of the reasons we went with a 3.5-inch kit, obviously I had it on the last Jeep, so I had it on the high velocity Wrangler. 3.5 got me up to the height that I wanted. And I know that if I would have went anything shorter than that, I would have eventually gone up to the 3.5. The nice thing with the Clayton kit is if you ever do decide to upgrade and go to a bigger kit, you can use the same control arms and just get bigger springs. With the 3.5, I should easily be able to clear 37s or even 40s. We're throwing around a couple ideas right now of what we want to go with wheel and tire wise, because B&M Off-Road is right next door, and that's who we're getting the wheels and tires with. We're not putting the stock ones back on, but we should have plenty of clearance with that, with the 3.5-inch there to still articulate out, get the bump stop set in, and be able to wheel this with some 37s or 40s. So here's the difference in the rear coil springs. Obviously, you can see the height with the 3.5-inch kit is definitely up there versus the stock spring. And then another nice thing that I'm looking at already is this, we know this, it's a dual rate spring with the Clayton kit. So the smaller ones are gonna absorb those lighter bounces, and then the larger springs here are really gonna expand and contract when you're out on the trails. This makes it nice for daily driving and then off-roading built into one. Another cool thing is I know Clayton makes these springs in the US, and also a neat thing is their powder coating process. It's like a 3-stage process to get these done. They are dialed in for the 392, so they're set up for the weight. And the nice thing about the front springs is that they're already set up for the winch bumpers. They're already going to compensate for that extra weight up there and give me a nice even ride. So Alex just got the Falcon 3.3s installed in the back, and honestly, I'm excited to run these. I had 3.1s in my original Hemi Swap JL, and they did fantastic with the adjustment up top. But now there's also an adjuster down below too, so you can actually spin the shaft of the shock to adjust this from soft to more of a firm feeling. Now, Joe said he's done a couple things with this. He makes the lower section a little bit more firm down here compared to the soft setting, and then tightens everything down just because you do need to remove the lower shock bolt to twist this. And then up top, you can adjust the soft setting versus the firm. So you can put it a little bit softer up here. And he said off camera here, it helps with a lot of the cornering and the drivability of this. Me having a 392, I know I hit the corners a little bit probably too quick sometimes, or I'm just kind of playing around with the horsepower, and I want to make sure that I feel planted, but still can absorb the road vibration, and then off-road still have the ability to change it up. So I can still change it to softer or firmer and just do it on the fly here, but a lot of adjustability in these shocks.
All right, so just a little tech tip. Always make sure with the JL platform, any one sport, Rubicons, always cut your rear sway bar links, and you might have to double cut them. The idea is they always hit, the sway bar is always going to hit this shock. So you want to cut your sway bar links to bottom out just before this hits the shock, because while on road it's not that big of a deal, but when you go off road, this is all going to get scraped up. So this is at full droop right now. We set these at full droop to just be about a 1/4 inch to a 1/2 inch away, I'd say. I think the overall length is like 11.5 inches top to bottom. So just, yeah, fun tech tip.
So we do have a set of 35s that we're taking off this Jeep, and honestly with a 3.5-inch kit, it just wouldn't have looked right. I went with a set of 37s on my last Jeep, and that looked perfect, but we might go a little bit bigger than that. These, Joe says 40s, and I think that might be a good idea. You might have to re-gear it then eventually, Joe. Yeah, got to run some bigger tires. Ryan has a set of 35s on his, but his wheel and setup, the KMC GRS wheels on there, they look perfect. All right, guys, so Alex just asked me a question off camera. Are we leaving this bracket on here? I don't know if it's gonna clear if I go 40s, so we may or may not be removing it. It is up to you if you decide to do it. We are not recommending you do this. Always keep factory equipment in the Jeep. Do not take anything off. And we are not mechanics, so don't listen to any advice that we have. That's all I have to say about that. So if you like it, definitely leave it there, and you probably should leave it there, but we're gonna see what happens to it on this Jeep. So another thing we're gonna add on here, just like we did on Ryan's Jeep up in Connecticut, Clayton actually make these mini skids for the front control arms. Now what these do, they're made out of 1/4-inch plate steel, bent and completely fit in here nicely, but they're gonna cover the front of the control arm opening, so that way when we are on the trails, if we hit any obstacles, it'll kind of glide underneath here and not get into our control arm. And also, if you're already this deep into it, you may as well add a set of these into your cart and just have it done, especially if you're at a shop like this, where they can grind it down and weld it up nicely and get you coated up and ready to go. So we've got 2 wheels brought down for B&M Off-Road up the street. That's where we're getting all of our wheels and tires from for this build and for all the builds on the channel. If you guys want to, definitely hit them up. We'll have a different section on the website too that you can have them price out wheels and tires. They're gonna be the most competitive out of anyone on the internet. Don't just think because you're on the internet, it's the lowest price. Give these guys a try and see how low of a price and how quality of a service they can give you. So we've got 2 wheels here. KMC tank in the bronze finish with the black ring. This one looks familiar to me because I ran this exact wheel in the anthracite finish on my last JL. I did really like this wheel. I thought that the anthracite matched almost with like the factory Extreme Recon wheel. This bronze matches this Jeep really well. So I gotta say, I'm kind of happy with the way that this looks here. I think that it would match the bronze and give it a nice accent. And then the other thing that we have with this is that it does have the black ring, so it gives you more of an accent here, and then KMC right in the center there in bronze as well. So this wheel looks fantastic. I think it's a good looking wheel. It's got dual valve stems too, so you can air up, air down pretty quickly. But then let's go to the back and check out the KMC Grenade Crawl in the satin black finish with the machined ring. This looks fantastic on here too. So this is a nice offset on here. You can accent a lot of these different colors because you can pull these caps out and pull the center out as well. Got the zinc finish bolts. You got the through design in the beadlock ring, so this is going to drain and not collect all your water there. And these look very nice as well. This is a classic beadlock style wheel, satin black in the center, machined rings on the outside. This one looks good too. So this is going to be a hard call. We're going to finish up the rest of the lift kit, head up to B&M, and we'll show you guys what we end up with. All right, guys, well, you can see what we ended up with right here on the mounting machine. 40 by 13.5 Mickey Thompson Baja Boss MTs. These are gonna work really well on the build. I was gonna go 37s, but we're going so big with the 3.5-inch kit, we may as well go with the 40s because they will fit. And then also, if you look closer to the wheel, we did go with the KMC Grenade Crawl. They're getting it all mounted up here. The nice thing about this hands-free machine is it helps you mount beadlocks too. It's a lot of work to do that, but hopefully the machine will help a little bit and just make this process go a little bit quicker. But yeah, I got a set of 5. Look at how big those are over there. This Jeep's gonna be really big. I mean, honestly,
how do you think the wife's gonna get into this?
Yeah, we're gonna need those rock slide engineering power steps to get into this. No, we're doing rock slide engineering, and
It's better than
but yeah, I don't know. 40s are gonna be big. We're gonna have to run a little bit lower tire pressure to get a smooth ride, but with the 392, it should be able to push it. Ryan's got an 1.5-inch Clayton kit with 35s. I've already done 37s with my 3.5-inch kit, but I think my dad's gonna do a 2.5-inch Clayton kit with 37s, and then we have a 3.5 with 40s. So being able to try everything out, run it, see what performs well and what doesn't on this, the Jeep can take it, so we're just gonna kind of see what happens. There's like a big argument back and forth online, anti-Cs or no anti-Cs on beadlock bolts.
I don't like anti-Cs. I've seen them walk out.
Well, and that's, I guess, like, I read about it too, the torque specs, when you have anti-Cs, change the torque spec of this because this is a dry fit.
They give you
It's tricky. Yeah, it's tricky because, like, but these are grade 8 zinc. They're not going to, like, rot away. It's just, it's not fun, but you got to do it right. Yeah. All right, Joe, we got just about everything wrapped up. So we got the performance package installed, the 3.5-inch Overland Plus. Everything is kind of dialed in until we take it down to alignment.
Well, they put together a performance package with parts that we know work well together. The Rock Jock steering definitely complements this kit. I have a couple steering packages I like. This is one of the two of them. Falcon shocks are a no-brainer. They're really working well for a lot of people. So when you buy this, you get literally everything. You could do this all in one shot in a day or two in your driveway if you're quick on jack stands. Correct link is great. This whole organic forge situation that John Curry thought up with the geometry, you know, everything's nice and parallel. It makes it super responsive. The steering coming in the kit, these are all things that, like, I think make it the performance package, because you're kind of getting the best of everything all in one package and putting it all on your Jeep in one shot. Yeah, I like these a lot. We sell probably, I'd say 70% of our customers go with this exact kit on their JLs.
It seems like, it's everything all in one. I mean, that's kind of what I liked about it, but you're not mix matching parts, and we're pushing some heavy rubber. We got 40s going on there.
If you're adding 35s, you're not even really going to notice a difference. 37s is not going to put a dent in it. If you're getting up into 40s, you might want to think about something a little more heavy duty, and there are some options out there that we talk about pretty often. But for this build, this Jeep, the way this is set up, this is going to be the best option he has for on-road and some moderate off-road use.
Yeah, absolutely. We're pushing it with the 40s. We're going up to some pretty heavy meets, and you know, I think it'll do it for everything I need it to. I'm not heavy on the throttle when I'm off-roading and crazy binding in the steering, but if we need to upgrade it, eventually we do. But like I said, I think this is a pretty perfect setup.
Yeah, it's a great setup.
Yeah. You know they're heavy when you have to do that, I guess, huh? No?
I'm not doing that. Alex is throwing them up there. I'll wheel them.
Your back is more valuable than the tires?
Uh-huh.
Jeez. Let me wheel one of these in just a little bit of a size difference here. You know, we had to use the mini truck. It's probably my favorite vehicle down here. When I come down here, I have to see the mini truck. 315 70 17s up to 43 by 13.5 17s. This is going to increase, I mean, probably the Jeep's height alone by 4 or 5 inches.
The amount of safety you're going to get with
The safety of this, the aspect of the safety, I mean, that's why I bought the 392, is for safety. I get convinced my wife it's for safety purposes. Yeah, hey, it works. So we're gonna get these installed now. I think I'm gonna have Ryan pick up each one because he hadn't had time to go to the gym yet today, so he's just gonna go ahead and install each of these. It's a lot of rotating mass here, but I kind of wanna see what it looks like on the Jeep, because this thing's gonna be, it's probably gonna sit like this height and gonna make me look really short, so. That's huge. That is absolutely huge. That's a big Jeep, yeah. Yeah, it came down nicely. We're close on the rear end there. I'll hop out of here. I left it in neutral. Ah, holy shit. Well, that'll let you know how high it is. I just like fell out of it. Yeah, see if it's gonna be good for the mall. First stop, Starbs. It's just pushing the plastic in a little bit. I think we could probably get some more if we would cut out the inner fenders. It's just hitting the back plastic and the inside. If you go look at it, it's, I don't know. Back of the wheel well. It's just that piece that you cut.
They can actually hear you talk too.
Yeah.
Oh, it's the removable piece.
Yeah, so that's what I'm saying. If we would gut the inner fenders a little bit, this would be plenty more to go too.
That's still pretty solid
for 40s. Yeah. Yeah, that's up there. I think if we would cut the fenders, do the fender chop, you'd have plenty more to go. Yeah. On today's viewer video, we're checking out Mark's 2018 JL Unlimited Rubicon. He said it was completely stock when he bought it in October of 2022, so he did pick it up as a used Jeep and then added all the goodies. So a JKS lift with Fox 2.5 shocks, KMC Grenade full polished wheels, and then a 38 by 13.5 Falcon Wild Peak MT tire. Rugged Ridge Arcus front bumper with a 10,000-pound worn Evo winch, fender chop, and a bunch of other goodies on here. This is in the billet silver. Yeah, this is billet unveil it silver before it was silver zenith. And I love the setup on here. It looks like it's running those 38s very smoothly. I gotta say, it gives me some ideas with mine, especially with the fender chop, giving you some more clearance in there. Beautiful looking Jeep, Mark. Thank you so much for submitting. And if you guys want to have a chance at your rig being featured, be sure to hit us up through Instagram or send us an email. All right, guys, after a long day here at Locked and Loaded 4x4 and B&M Off-Road, the Jeep is completed. We got 40s on the Jeep, a 3.5-inch full Clayton performance package lift kit. We got everything dialed in, Falcon 3.3 shocks, full setup with the control arms, Overland Plus. Got the full rock jock correct link steering up front, fully aligned, everything is dialed in, and we can stuff these 40s actually quite a bit more than I was expecting. Well, I wasn't even expecting to do 40s. I was gonna do 37s, and that's why we still have the stock in the back. We're gonna get either a reinforcement or just delete it and then throw the extra 40 in the back of the Jeep, depending on what we do. Huge shout out to Joe and his team at Locked and Loaded 4x4, Ben and Mike at B&M Off-Road. They hooked it up, and this Jeep looks absolutely awesome. I gotta tell you guys, I'm super excited by the way this Jeep looks. Got a live studio audience, do a pan view. Anyways, guys, we're super excited to wrap this Jeep up. You will see it at the first show in Daytona Jeep Beach. We're gonna have it there, and then throughout a ton of shows throughout the summer, and we're gonna be with these guys at almost all these shows. So definitely look for us. Thank you so much for following along. My name is Matt, and that's Ryan behind the camera. We want you to get out there and earn yours. What are you guys doing?
Can we do a second take of that? These knuckleheads.
Yeah, y'all are like, how much noise? I'm hearing.
Wheel and all that shit just fell over.
First he left, then the phone rang, then the boxes are like, oh! We needed one take, one dream take.